one of them is English. And so this list, or this guide, has a lot of information in it. You probably don't need all of it, but one of the things I try to do is I have this tab called themes and genres. So when you're not looking for an author specifically, it gets a little bit trickier, but there are other ways to search. So you can search for themes, genre, and context. And I have a whole lot of examples here. But there are a lot of headings that are like literature and history, right? Literature and something else. So if I'm in the catalog, and what were you writing about with this book?
Like spirituality and how does trying to drive like purpose in life, and how we like our interpretations of reality compared to others. So
okay, that could be a complicated topic. I'm going to boil it down for the sake of this example. So let's say you were interested in philosophy, right? So it's a little bit like that. And I realize that's a simplification, but just for the sake of the example, right? So I suspect I suspect that philosophy and literature, or philosophy in literature might be a heading. I'm going to do a general search, and I'm going to see if I can find anything useful, right? Some of these are completely irrelevant, but this one, not relevant to the specific work, but it seems like it might have some things. It's not quite what I want though. Although I see literature and society, politics and literature, that's not really what I'm interested in. So, I'm going to be a little bit more strict. I can go keyword in subject, which means that I'm not searching the list alphabetically, I'm just looking for words that show up in the subject. Okay, so that helps me a little bit. And so what I'm looking for is something that will say philosophy in literature. If I really believe that it's there, I could just try searching for it directly, but usually I don't. Does it work? Does it work? It does work. So I could have just done that, but I wanted to show you how you go through the books and you look for the heading that works best. So here, there are a bunch of books about philosophy and literature, and this might be a case where I'd want to go to the advanced search and say, okay, philosophy, but also sense of self, right? And kind of play with some words like that. And we could talk further about that. But you can see there are a lot of books that kind of generally address philosophy, or specifically in some cases. So that's one way that you can do it. You can look for themes. You can look for genre, right? So if you're interested in Jane Eyre, there's going to be a lot about Jane Eyre, but you can also say Bildungsroman, which is a great word, by the way. Do you guys know that word? It's German. So what it means is a coming-of-age story, right? The Roman at the end just means a novel. The word romance used to mean novel. So so it's a coming-of-age story. So there's a lot written about Jane Eyre as a Bildungsroman. So I have some other examples here: biography, comedy, epic literature, science fiction, anything that looks like a genre you can search by. And also approaches. So I noticed in your assignment that you're using different, we usually call them critical lenses, right? So there are also books about that. So if you find that either you don't find books about your author, or you'd rather have a book that gives you more background into this idea, we also have that. And it's hard to predict how they'll be, but I did some of that for you, right? So we have this whole list: deconstruction, feminist literary criticism, history and literature, Marxist criticism, right? So so that's another avenue of research. And of course, context, right? So if an author is from a particular nationality, you can do that. I have Irish literature and authors Irish as examples. If they write in a particular literary movement, right? So Romanticism, the Harlem Renaissance, any of that, you can search by that. Or other facets of their identity, right? So women authors, for instance. So those are all searches that you can do. Those are all valid and good. Okay. So those are the basics of the catalog. So I think what I'd like to do, because I feel like I'm talking a lot, I've kind of gotten into the details. What I'd like to do is I'd like to give you some time to identify a couple books in the catalog. Do that. Find a couple books that are relevant. See if at least one of them can be a print book, because